Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to the class. If you've been to my channel before and you've watched my previous video, you will notice that we started the solving the questions for the official ACT Prep Guide 2021 to 2022, and we did questions 1 to 10. So we're going to start from question 11 to question 20 today, and I hope you enjoy this video. Like I always say, if you do enjoy this video, if you watch it to the end, don't forget to click the subscribe button if you're new, and click the like button also, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I drop a new video. Again, the book I'm using here that I'm solving through is the official ACT Prep Guide 2021 and 2022. What I'm doing is solving the questions and providing solutions to these questions. So let's go with question 11. In a class of 10th graders, no student participated in more than one of the following extracurricular activities. Two-thirds of the class played in the band, 1/6 sang in the chorus, 1/10 played football, and 1/60 played basketball. What fraction of the class did not participate in any of one of these activities? That is the question that they're asking us. So to solve this question, first thing we got to do is remember what the different participation ratio is for the different activities. So I'm going to write band is 2/3, right? And singing, those that sang, where that sang, is 1/6. And we also know that those that play football is 1/10. And the final one is basketball, is 1/60. So the question is, what fraction of the class did not participate in any one of these activities? This question is a probability question. How do I know? They gave us a ratio, they gave us observation, so to speak. They observed that, in a class of 10 graders, no student participated in more than one of the following extracurricular activities. That is one observation. The second observation is there's a group of activities, 4 in total, 1, 2, 3, 4. Out of those 4, 2/3 of the class played in band, and 1/6 played in sang, 1/10 did football, and 1/60 did basketball. So that is a kind of like a ratio. So we know that probability, and from our last class we defined that already. Probability is equal to probability of x, which we write as P bracket x, is equal to number of observations of x divided by total number of observations. That is how we define probability. So, and then we also define probability of not x in our last question. So probability of not x, we wrote x not x as something like this, is equal to 1 minus this whole equation. If let's say this whole equation is y, that will be y. So that's probability of not x. So in this question, they're asking us probability of not one participated in all 4 activities, right? That's what they're asking us. So they're asking us for this equation right here. So to solve this, the probability that all of them participated in the activity, probability that all participated is going to be equal to all of them, right? So you have 2 over 3 plus 1 over 6 plus 1 over 10 plus 1 over 60. So the fraction for this is going to take 60 right here. Let's take 60, right? So you have 60 can go in 3. You have 20. 20 times 2 is 40. Plus 60 in 6. So that is 60 divided by 6. 60 divided by 6 is 10. And 10 times 1 is 10. Plus you have 60 divided by 10 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. And 60 divided by 60 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, right? So if we add all this up, that'll give you 40 plus 10 plus 6 plus 1. So 40 plus 10 is 50. 50 plus 6 is 56. 56 plus 1 is 57. So here, your answer is 57 over 60. But what we are looking for is what fraction of the class did not. So like I said, that'll be one probability of all fractions that did not, which is, I'll call it x. Let's call this x, right? So by x, it's going to be 1 minus probability of x, right? So this right here is probability of x. So that will give you, let me clean this off so you can see it very well. So that'll give you probability of not x will be 1 minus probability of x is 57 over 60. So all you got to do in this case now is take the fraction, do your math, divide by 1, write 60 here, right? 60 divided by 1 is 60. 60 times 60 is 60, minus 60 divided by 60 is 1. 1 times 57 is 57. So 60 minus 57 is 3. That's 3 divided by 60. And you can further simplify this because 3 divided by 3 is 1. 3 divided by 60 is 20, right? So when you simplify this, your answer is 1 divided by 20. And if you look at the options we have, 1 divided by 20 is going to be option C right here. That's our answer, 1 divided by 20. Also, you can make this simple for you. I always like to use the cross multiplication method. If you have 1 divided by 1 minus 57 divided by 60, cross this right here, multiply it, and then cross this right here, multiply it, and keep the sign, and that'll give you, and then you also have to multiply this one too, don't forget that. So you have 60 times 1, 60, 1 times 57, 57, divided by 60 times 1 is 60, and that gives you 3 over 60, and that gives you 1 over 20 if you simplify further. So that is how you solve question 11. Let's go straight to question 12. So question 12 says, what is the smallest integer greater than square root of 61? That is the question. What is the smallest integer? So the first thing is, we're looking at these two numbers right here, and these two words, and then this last composite word, right? First thing is, what is an integer? A number that is whole and not a fraction. Simplest definition of an integer, right? So we're looking for numbers like examples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are all integers. What is not an integer? 1.1, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, 5/15, 3/20. This is not an integer. Okay? Why are they not integers? Because they are fractions. The fact that it has a decimal point between and they have a number after the decimal point means it's a fraction somewhere. Except if it's 1.0 or whatever it is. But right now, these are all fractions, and a fraction cannot be an integer because it's not an whole number, right? So that is the definition of integers. That once you have this understanding of a definition, then you'll be good. So I'm going to take this off and let's answer this question. So what this means that integer has to be, it must be the smallest integer that is greater than 61. It must be greater than 61. So for it, let's say that integer is x. It means that x must be greater than 61. So what that means is that this x must satisfy two criteria. X must be an integer or a whole number, and x must be greater than square root of 61. Once you satisfy these two parameters, you will find your answer, right? You can use the simplest method of saying, let me just go through here. But you can also use a method that is extremely simple. You already know that 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is what? 4. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. And you can tell that these numbers are actually smaller than 61, right? Because we're not close to 61 yet. We'll get there. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. 7 squared is 49. 8 squared is 64. So you already seen the pattern, right? And you can write this as root. You can take this one out and convert it to root, right? So 16, 9, 4, 1, 25, 36, 49. They are all of them are lower than 61. So you know that this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Oh, sorry, what am I doing? So this 2 is wrong right here. So you are left with 8, 10, 31. Right? Square root of 61 is what? At the minimum, square root of 61 is going to be less than 8 squared. Because 8 squared is 64. So definitely the smallest number that is whole and it's also greater than 61, it's going to be 8. Because if you go 10 squared is 100, which is also greater than 61. And 31 squared definitely is going to be way greater than 10 squared. So it's whole, but it's not the smallest number. This is greater than, this right here is greater than 61 square root, but it is not the smallest number. I guess I should have added that this, you must satisfy 3 criteria, right? The third criteria is must be the smallest in the option. I should have added that. That makes it so you have 3 criteria, because this right here satisfies this criteria. 31 also satisfies this criteria but does not satisfy this criteria. This satisfies this criteria and this, but does not satisfy this. This one satisfies this criteria, and this criteria. This two does not. So the answer here is H. So H is your answer to that question. Very easy. In an exam situation, all you gotta do is look for the number that when you square it will be greater than 61, but will be the smallest in this group. That's how you answer that question. Let's go to question 13. Question 12 says, in triangle ABC shown below, sine C is equal to 2/3, and the length of AB is 6 inches. What is the length in inches of AC, which is face AC? So we are given this, we are asked for AC right here. So let's call AC X. So I'm going to write X here. That's what we're looking for, X. So, and they've given you one information. There is a rule for triangle that says sine, and I'm going to try and use this alphabet also. I'm going to use A, B, and C. I'm going to put this as Y. Sine A over Y, which is sine of this angle, divided by the length of that the angle facing this right here, the angle facing the opposite lane Y, is equal to the sine of, say, angle B divided by the face facing that angle X, and we're going to call this, maybe it's whatever it is, Z. It's equal to sine C, sine of the angle, divided by 6. This formula is the same thing as, say, if you have a triangle like this, A, B, and C, you have X, Y, and Z. This formula says sine C is divided by X is equal to sine B, then take the face right here, Z, is equal to sine A divided by this angle facing it directly. So in this case, I have Y. This formula is called the sine rule. Sine rule formula. That's what it's called. And this formula is what we're going to use to solve this question. So, going by the sine rule formula, it means we can take any two we want. We can take either these two or we can take this one. It's best to take the one that you know the information about, right? Always good to take that information. So let me take this off. Okay. So since I'm looking for X and I know this information, I know this one, I'll just take this to, I'll forget about that. I don't need that. So to solve this question, remember your sine rule, use the information you know. Sine B over x, which is what we're looking for, is equal to sine C over 6. Okay? What is the angle of B? This is actually an angle, so just remember that it's an angle. Sine, what is B? B is 90 because this is a 90-degree triangle. It's a 90-degree triangle, so this is sine 90 over x equal to sine C is 2 over 3. But write 2 over 3 divided by 6. I'm going to write this one so that it's easy. That way you don't make any mistake, right? Because this, as a matter of fact, let's expand this right here. Let's expand it. Let's just right away. This is sine C times 1 over 6. That's what this means. So this right here is the same thing as this. That way it's clearer, you know. So now to write this very well, you have sine 90 over x is equal to, what is sine C? They said sine C is 2 over 3. So you have 2 divided by 3 times 1 over 6. Right? So let's finish this off. Let me take a space right here so that we don't make any mistakes. Sine 90 over x is equal to what? 2 here is 2 divided by 2 is what? Is 1. And 2 divided by 6 is 3. So you already have 1. You have 1 over 3 times 1 over 3. That's what you get. So if you expand this, that will be sine 90 divided by x is equal to 1. 1 times 1 is 1 divided by 3 times 3 is 9. So you have 9. Okay? What is sine 90? To do that, you have to, if you know it by heart, it's better. If you don't know it by heart, you can use a calculator. And how do you use a calculator to do that? Let me find a way I can show you how to do that with a calculator. So you get your calculator. Most basic calculators have sine, cosine, and tangent. So click on sine and then click on type 90. Once you do that, click on the equal sign. It's going to give you what sine 90 is. Okay? When you do that, your sine 90 is going to be 1. Okay, on your calculator. Your sine 90 is going to be 1. But if you don't want to use calculator, it is very good to have this information, you know, in your head. If you can memorize them, they're going to come in handy. You know, they're going to come in handy when you have situations like this. You have the ones you should know often is sine 90, sine 60, and sine 30. Sine 90 is equal to 1. Sine 60 is 0.8660, I think. And sine 30 is 0.5 or half. So these are like standard things that you can memorize on your own. Anyway, so sine 90 is 1. So instead of writing sine 90, we can say 1 divided by x is equal to 1 divided by 9. So now that you have this information, what you need x. Is that not right? You need x, right? So you can do two things. You can cross multiply right here, which means times this by this. Now 1 times 9 is 9, equal to 1 times x is what? X. So therefore x is equal to 9. That's your answer. So this x right here is actually 9, and your option is option E. X is 9. So that is how you solve that equation. Remember the sine rule, that sine A divided by A is equal to sine B divided by B is equal to sine C divided by the C. And this is in degrees actually. This is in degrees, and it's just in any unit length unit. So that is how you solve question 13. Let's go straight to question 14. So question 14 says, in the table shows the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Which of the following is a general expression for the nth term? Which of the following is a general expression of the nth term? To solve this, write down the formula of the nth term. The nth term formula, which I'm going to write here, nth term formula is equal to an plus n minus 1 d. And I'm going to try and define all this. D is the difference between sequential terms. In this case, for example, D is going to be equal to the difference between this and this one, which is 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. And D is always the same. For example, in this case, 9 minus 5, D, let's see this, let me call this D1, D2, 9 minus 5 is 4. D3, 13 minus 9, is equal to 4. D4, and you can see how it's going. 17 minus 13 is equal to 4. So you see it's constant, right? So D is really constant. So that is the definition of D. And in this case, D is 4. And then AN is the first term in the sequence, right? And an N is the term position. Which is what you have right here. So what is the general expression for the nth term, which is this nth term right here? So what is AN? AN is the first term in the sequence. In this question, the first time is 1. So you have 1 right here. Plus. Now they give you the answer with n in there. So you don't want to put the value of n in here because value n can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just let's leave it as n. But that's what our equation is going to be in terms of n, right? In terms of the nth term. And then minus 1. And then what is d? D is the difference between sequential terms. So you have 1 minus 5, 5 minus 1 minus 5 is 4, sorry. So you have 4 in this case. So expand this bracket, expand the bracket, and you get the nth term is equal to 1 plus 4 times n is 4n. Okay, you can still leave it in the bracket if you want to. 4 times minus 1 is minus 4. So further expand this bracket, write it out clearly. You have 1 plus 4n minus 4. So if you rearrange this, what you actually have is 4n, okay, minus 4 plus 1 by rearranging this equation. So if you do that, you have 4n minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. And that is the nth term. So your answer here is 4n minus 3, which is h. That's your answer. So to answer the question, write down the formula for the nth term, assuming you are asked to find what the sixth term is. The sixth term. If you're looking for the sixth term, you already know this increased by 4, so it's going to be 21. But they can ask you for the 80th term. You can find it. But let's go for the sixth term. Let's see if this formula works for us, right? So the sixth term is going to be 4 times n is going to be 6 minus 3. And that will be 4 times 6 is 24 minus 3. And 24 minus 3 is equal to 21. So that means that this formula is valid. It's a valid formula. It's true. This answer is correct. So that is question 14. Let's go to question 15. In this question, it says, what is the perimeter in feet of the figure shown below? And you're given this figure. You have this figure here, 20, 8, 20, 14. What is perimeter? Perimeter. So once you understand what a perimeter is, that should give you an idea what you're trying to find. So perimeter is the total sum of the boundary of an object. So in that case, you want to add this. If you add everything together, that will give you the perimeter. The problem is you're giving this information, but this information here is left out. X and Y is left out. Because you also need these two numbers before you can calculate perimeter. You need that. So let's find what X and Y is. Let's redraw this again. Pardon my drawing, it's terrible. So you will see that it appears that this is actually you get 20 here, 20 here, you get 14 here, something. It looks like it's a square. And you can complete that by drawing this dotted line right here. So you have 8 feet, you have 20, you have 20, and you have 14. So if you complete, this side is equal to this side, which means if this is x and this is y, it means that x plus 8 plus x must be equal to 20. And it also means that 14 plus y must also be equal to 20. That's what it means. So your x, let's solve for 1. If you solve for equation 1, x is equal to 20 minus 8. And if you solve for equation 2, y is equal to 20 minus 14. So this is x is equal to 12 and y is equal to 6, right? So if you write that value, those values right here, your x is going to be equal to 14 here, your x is going to be equal to 12 here, and your y is going to be equal to 6 here. Also, because this is a square, this is equal to this. This, because this is a rectangle, sorry, this is equal to this, and this side is equal to this side, which means that is actually 6 and it's also 12 since they are equal. Don't forget that for a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. So if this is x, it's also going to be x. If this is y, it's also going to be y. That's what that means. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So we know that this is 12, this is going to be 12, this is 6, this is going to be 6. So what does that tell me? That tells me that this right here is 6 feet and this right here is 12 feet. So now we can calculate our perimeter. To do that, just add up all the sides. You got side number 1, side number 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's add all of them together. You can go this way or you can go this way. Let's go counterclockwise like that. So 8 plus 20 plus 20 plus 14 plus 12, this 12, and then plus 6. So 8 plus 20 is 28. 20 plus 14 is 34. 12 plus 6 is 18. Am I correct? Yeah, correct. So 28 plus 34 is what? 62. 62 plus 18. So we add this together, 62 plus 18 will give you 80. So your answer is 80 feet, which is option D. If you had done a mistake and just add all this together, you would have gotten the wrong answer. You get 8 plus 20, which is 28, 28 plus 20, which is 48, 48 plus 14, which is 62, something like that. If you have chosen this, you'll be wrong, because a perimeter must consider all sides. All sides. You can't just leave that side. You have to figure out what that sides are. And that's why we had to do all that we did to arrive at 80 feet. So that's your answer, 80 feet. Let's go to question 16. In this question, it says, Manuel estimates that 2/3 of a pizza is left. Stephen estimates that 3/4 is left. They are going to compromise for a joint estimate by using the number halfway between their two estimates. What is their joint estimate? So, Stephen says it is 3/4. Manuel says it is 2/3. Right? That's what they say. That's what this first statement is. Now, they are going to compromise for a joint estimate. So you're going to join their estimate by using the number halfway between their estimates. So if you join these estimates together, you have 3/4 plus 2/3. If you remember what I said earlier, you can use it's going to give you 12 as your common denominator. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Plus 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So you have, if you add this together, you have 17 divided by 12. That is their joint estimate. But that's when they compromise. What is the half of their joint estimate? So what is the, they have to meet halfway. What is the average of the joint estimate, so to speak, or what is half of it? So that will be 17 divided by 12 divided by 2. That's like the half of their joint estimate. So combine this to multiplication. You have 17 divided by 12 times 1/2. And that gives you 17 divided by 12 times 2 is 24. And that is what you're looking for. What is their joint estimate? So what this question is definitely asking you is, if they're going to meet halfway, what is the halfway of this one? 3/4 divided by half of that. What is the half of that? Times 1/2, I believe, something like that. So you have 3/8. And then what is the half of this one? That's 2/3 times 1/2. That'll give you 2/9, 2/6, I believe. Yeah, 2/6. So if you add this together, which is going to be the joint estimate, that will 24. 24 in 8, you have 3. That's 9. 24 and 6, you have 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So that is 17 over 24. That is another way you can solve that, you know. So you have two ways you can go about it. The first way is this method. The second way is to find the half, because since they compromise, find the half of their estimate and then get that half and combine it. So it's like you're saying you're taking the half of their individual estimate and combining that half to give you what their joint estimate is. So you can go through this long process and you can go through this short process by just finding their total estimate and then half it, and then you get your answer. So here the answer is F, 17 over 24. Let's go to question 17. This question said, so far this basketball season, Sherita made 46 over 60 free throws, giving her a free throw average of about 76.7%. What is the minimum number of free throws she would need to make from now on in order to have a free throw average of at least 80%? This is a very simple question. What they are saying is 46 out of 60 that this lady, Sherita, threw is 76.7%. You can also rewrite these as 46 of the 60 throws that she made is 76.7 divided by 100. Because that's what percent is, right? That's what it means. So you can go on and simplify this further. Now they are not saying that how much does she need to throw to get 80%, which means 46, she's already thrown 46, right? She needs to make X amount, which is, she's already thrown 60, she made 46. She needs to make X amount more if she throws X amount free throws. If she does this, if she increase her throw and increase made throws by the same percent, by the same amount, it should be 80%. Right? So if you rewrite this, that is, she's already made 46, she needs this much, which means she has to throw this much to make 80 divided by 100. So this right here is the same thing. It's just, you just need to make X number of throws and X number of free throws to make 80%. So right here, you already know that your answer is coming, right? So you can cross this out and simplify this for yourself. So 2 divided by 8 is what, 4, and 2 divided by 10 is what, 5. So if you simplify this, you have 46 plus what she needs to make, 60 plus what she needs to throw will give you 4 divided by 5. Okay? So now all we gotta do now is expand this right here. So to do that, multiply this way, multiply this way, and put a bracket in there. So you have 4 bracket 60 plus x is equal to 5 bracket 46 plus x. That's what it means. So once you do that, I'm going to take some portion of this off so we can have space to finish this question out. I'm going to take this portion off. I'm going to leave the options. So if you expand that, you have these times these, 60 times 4, which is 4 times 60, that's what that means, plus, expand that, 4 times x is equal to 5 times 46 plus 5 times x. That's what that means. So if you do that, 4 times 60 is going to be 240. So we have 240 plus 4x is equal to 5 times 46. This is 0. That's 30. We got 3. 5 times 20 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 3, that's 230. Plus 5x. So let's bring like terms together. Like terms, right? Or every number with x go to the same place, and the numbers without x in the same place. So in this case, we're going to write 240. Remember I said whenever you move a number across the equality sign, there's going to be a change in sign. So there's a plus here. We don't usually write it, but there's a plus there. So if you move this number here, this sign is going to change to negative. So we're going to have minus 230 is equal to 5x. If you move this sign, this number here, this sign is going to change to negative also. So you have minus 4x. So 240 minus 230 is 10. And 5x minus 4x is x. Therefore, x is equal to 10. What that means that Sherida will have to make 10 more throws to be 80%, and your answer is C. And you can check that by saying if you have 10 to do, say for example, you have 46 plus 10 divided by 60 plus 10, that gives you 56, and this gives you 70. And if you make that division, you get about 80%. So that's question 17, I believe. Let's now go to question 18. In this question, it says two functions are defined as function x is equal to 2x minus 1 and function gx is equal to s squared plus 1. Which of the following expression function g of x, what is the expression, right? So function x is equal to 2x minus 1. Function g of x is equal to s squared plus 1. Therefore, function g of x, what this means is what is function of a function, right? So what you're going to do is plug in this value, because this is the inner value right here, into function of x. So what that means is you have 2x minus 1 where x is equal to s squared plus 1. So therefore, you're going to have, anyway you see x, you're going to put this number, you have 2 bracket x squared plus 1 minus 1. Expand this, you have 2x squared plus 2 minus 1. You have 2x squared. 2 minus 1 is plus 1. So you have 2x squared plus 1. That's your answer. That will be G. So that's how you solve that. Question 19. In question 19, it says data set A consists of 8 numbers listed below. Data set B consists of 8 numbers in A and a 9th number which is greater than 90. How will the mean and the median of B compare to the mean and median of A? And the numbers are 62, 76, 76, 80, 82, 87, 94, 96. Option A says the mean and the median of B will be greater than the mean and the median of A. Option B says the mean and the median of B will be less than the mean and the median of A. Option C, mean and median of B equal mean and the median of A. Option D says the mean of B is equal to the mean of A and the median of B is greater than the median of A. Option E says the mean of B is greater than the mean of A and the median of B is equal to the median of A. So let's try it out. Let's prove it out. Let's find out what the real answer is here. Let's take this off. We know what it's talking about. The ninth number for B is no greater than 90. That's one thing we need to keep in mind. So we know that the last set A is 62, 76, 76, 80, 82, 87, 94, 96. And B is going to be all these 62, 76, 76, 80, 82, 87, 94, 96. And the ninth number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The ninth number must be greater than 90. So we can choose a number. Let's just choose 91. Since that satisfies the criteria for B, it has to be greater than 90. That's what the criteria is. And we have 91. So that is our number. Now, mean is the same thing as average, right? So when they say something is mean is equal to average in this case, and it means you add all this number together divided by the amount of number that you have, right? So let's take let me take this one out. So the mean of A is 62 plus 76 plus 76 plus 80 plus 82 plus 87 plus 94 plus 96, or divided by 8. That is the mean of A. If you do that division, you will come to a number like 81.625. And if you do the same for B, add all this number together, divided by 91. So divided by 9, so you have it's equal to 62 plus 76 plus 76 plus 80 plus 82 plus 87 plus 94 plus 96 is divided by 9, because you have 9 numbers. And if you do this math, you will come to 82.67. So the mean of B is greater than the mean of A. So right there you can eliminate some choices. Mean and median of A of B is less than median of A. So this is wrong. So you can eliminate that. That cannot be the case, because we already have the mean of B is greater than the mean of A. So that takes that out. The mean and median of B is equal to the mean and median of A. That is false. So you can take this out also. So these two answers is not the same. The mean of B is equal to the mean of A. That is not true, because the mean of B is greater than the mean of A. So you can remove this option also. In an exam environment, you want to maximize your time, right? So this elimination, you can quickly maximize your time. If you have a calculator, you can easily calculate the average and then quickly figure out which one can and which one cannot be the answer. So in this case, these three options can never be the answer, because we can prove it out now that the mean of A is less than the mean of B. Next one says the mean of B is greater than the mean of A. The median of B is equal to the median of A. So now we have to prove if any of these statements is true. How do you calculate median? Median is equal to the middle number in a series of numbers, right? So the middle number in a series of numbers. In this case, for B, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The median here is going to be the middle number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this right here, you got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 4 numbers here. You got 4 numbers here. This right here is the median. So for set B, median is 82, and mean is what? 82.67, right? And then for this one, the median for what I do? The median for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, the even number of items. So the median is going to be addition to 2 numbers. So you got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to add these 2 together, right? So the median for A is going to be 80 plus 82. And that'll give you what? 162, if I'm correct, right? So divide that by 2, that will give you 81, right? So for set A, the median is equal to 81, and the mean is equal to what? 81.625, something like that. So you already see that the median of A is less than the median of B, and the mean of A is less than the mean of B, which means the median of B is greater than the median of A, and the mean of B is greater than the mean of A. So this right here cannot be the option because there's an equal sign here. So the only option here is the mean and median of B is greater than the mean and median of A. That is your answer. Question answer is your answer. Now for the shortcut answer. Whenever you're given a question like this, if the sets are the same, if the first full set number are the same and you have one extra number that is larger, the mean and the median of that second set will always be greater than the mean and the median of the first number or the first set. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because this set is containing this, but also has an extra number, and this number is greater than the number before it, this is going to have a greater mean and potentially median. Always remember that rule. So let's go to question 20. I think that's what we're doing now, question 20? Question 20. This question says, a truck traveling at 35 miles per hour has a leaky radiator that is losing 4 fluid ounces per minute. That is a rate. How many miles will the truck travel before the radiator, which held 480 fluid ounces when it began to leak, is empty? So they gave you a rate for the leakage. I'm going to call it leak rate. Leak rate. That's the rate at which the fluid is leaking. 4 fluid ounce. So let's say 4 FL ounce per minute. They also give us the speed, the truck speed. We know the truck speed as 35 miles per hour. We also know how much fluid is in the truck. So we have fluid available is 480 fluid ounce. So if we know the leak rate and we know how much fluid we have, we can find out how much time it's going to take for this 480 to be empty, because it's leaking at 4 fluid ounce, which means every minute or 60 seconds 4 fluid ounces is lost. That's what this means. That's what this statement means, right? Leak rate. Every minute, 4 fluid ounces is lost. So if in 1 minute you lose 4 fluid ounces, how many minutes will it take you to lose 480? Because that's what this truck has. Once this truck exhausts all this fluid ounce, it will stop. So they want to know if it's traveling at this speed and is leaking fluid at this rate, how many distance will it travel more before it stops? Because once it's empty, it will stop. So what we need to find out is how many minutes will it take these 480 fluid ounces to be exhausted if it's leaking at this rate? That's what they're asking you. That's what we want to know. So to do that, you already know the rate and you know how much you have, right? So the formula you're going to use here is to say the amount that the time, right, that you have left, okay, it's going to be the rate. It's going to be what is that? The amount divided by your rate. So the amount that you have is 480, right? So the amount is 480. 480 fluid ounce. Don't forget to put that in there. Divided by, what is the rate? 4 fluid ounce. So you got 4 fluid ounce per minute. So 4 in 480, that will give you 4 in 4 is 1. 4 in 8 is 2, and you have 120. So you have 120 minutes. So it's going to take 120 minutes for this 480 fluid ounce to disappear, right? Because you're losing it at 4 ounces per minute. In 2 minutes, you're going to lose 8. In 3 minutes, you're going to lose 12. In 4 minutes, you're going to lose 16. That's how it goes. So if you want to know how many minutes it's going to take, just divide 480 by 4. That will give you the number of minutes, right? So 120 minutes is the same thing as 2 hours. You can convert this to 2 hours by saying 1 hour is 60 minutes times 120 minutes. So that gives you 2 hours, right? So that means in 2 hours, after 2 hours, this car is going to stop because your fluid is going to run out, right? After 2 hours, it's going to stop. What we're looking at is how long will this truck travel in 2 hours? That's what we're looking for now. How long will it travel in 2 hours? Because we know at 2 hours, it's going to stop. We know that for a fact. We just found out that in 2 hours, all our fluid is going to leak out. So we know it's going to take 2 hours to leak out. I want to see how long this truck is going to travel in 2 hours. So you've been given your speed, right? And you've been given your time, right? Speed is 35 miles per hour, and your time is 2 hours, right? So what you're looking for is your distance travel. So this is where science comes into play. This is the law of motion right here. Well, this is just simple law of motion, okay? Right? You ready? Okay. So simple law of motion says that if you have distance, if you don't have distance, you have time, you have speed, you can find out distance by saying that distance is equal to, right? You seeing that? Distance equal to that, right? 35 miles per hour, okay, times your time. Let me write the formula out first so that you don't get confused. Distance is equal to speed times time. So let's write out the formula out first so we know what we're doing. What is speed? What is the unit of speed? Miles per hour. That's the unit of speed. And what is the unit of time here is hours. So if you do the math for this, you're gonna end up with miles. That's why this formula is like that. So anyway, so you know what your speed is. Your speed is 35 miles per hour. Always make sure that your unit is consistent, because if you had just used 120 from what we had earlier, which is in minutes, you're not going to get the answer, right? You have to make sure that your units are consistent. Times time in hours. So you have 2 hours. So now you get this out of that, and you have 35 times 2, which is 70. So your distance is equal to 70 miles. And that is this option right here. So what that tells you is, if that truck is traveling at 35 miles per hour and the fluid is leaking at 4 fluid ounces per minute, and you have 480 fluid in the radiator, in 2 hours, your radiator is going to be empty of fluid, and in that 2 hours, this truck will only be able to travel 70 miles. And that's what they're asking. When how many miles would the truck travel before the radiator, which is at 480 hours when it began to leak out, will be empty? So that's what they're asking. So this is your answer. So we've done question 11 to 20. I took my time to explain the reasoning behind the answer, and that's why it took so long. The next video, I'm going to be starting from question 21 to question 30, and I'm going to try and explain how I got my answers, the formula to use, and things like that. At some point in the future, I'm also going to start from the right beginning. I'm going to do algebra 1, algebra 2, I'm going to do chemistry. So I'm going to start doing all these tutorials to explain how these things work. Because I know once you have that strong foundation, it's going to build your foundation when you get to college. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, if you like this video, these teachings, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell so you can get notified when I drop a new video. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next class.